What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Visili Lomachenko. Visili Lomachenko, before in the past, did state that Terrence Bud Crawford, he felt, was number one pound for pound and himself number two and everyone else after that. Now, for some odd reason, Visili Lomachenko has changed his mind and decided that he is pound for pound number one in the world. Now, me counterpunching this, I would disagree. I don't think Loma is number one, and not because he lacks the skill, and not because of anything besides the competition that he's fighting. He's fighting Luke Campbell. Maybe if he said that or thought that after the Luke Campbell fight, I could see that, because a lot of fighters get that sense of confidence, along with their fans after they win a fight. But he's saying this before. Now, my thing is, what made you think that you're pound for pound now as opposed to Terrence Bud Crawford? Terrence has never lost, right? And Lomachenko's only lost once. What competition did each of these guys fight before? Okay. Loma had an early knockout, and Amir Khan quit on Terrence Crawford, and I think round 7, I believe, right? So I'm wondering where Lomachenko gets this from, or did he feel this way the whole time? Now sources say that he was just trying to be humble with Terrence Crawford, but he thinks he's the number one fighter. I have no problem with that. The problem I have with that is, if you feel that you're the best, there's nothing wrong with thinking you're the best pound for pound, especially if you're way up there on the totem pole anyway. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's kind of weird from him now to say, I think I'm the best, as opposed to before you're like, no, Terrence Crawford is. I'm going to just stay humble and keep my peace. No, speak your piece. Speak it early. You know what I mean? Make it known that, hey, I'm the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And I think that for this reason, X, Y, and Z, or A, B, and C, or whatever. But let's look at everything that that's going on. Loma, I feel, is not the number one pound for pound for this reason. He doesn't have a dancing partner. Now, you could argue about Crawford. Crawford doesn't have a dancing partner either. But you know the difference between Crawford and Lomachenko. Lomachenko did go up weight classes, 126, 130, 135. Now he's thinking about going back to 130 to fight Tank or whatever, if that fight could ever be made, yada, yada, yada. But Crawford, 135, 140, 147. Okay, similarities. I get it. Terrence Bud Crawford cleaned out a whole weight division. I know Loma, if he could, he would have, but he didn't, right? But that goes back to the politics and the BS of boxing, that he couldn't get those fights. Just like it's not Crawford's fight, he can't get the Spence fight. You know what I mean? But a guy with 2 Ring Magazine belts along with Undisputed, that has to count for something. Therefore, Terrence Crawford is number one pound for pound to me. Now, I wouldn't just argue someone down if they felt that it was Loma, because Loma's extraordinary in there. He has extraordinary skills. He thinks, he changes angles, he changes up his game plan like that and still come forward. Forever changing. That's why they call him the Matrix. It's a beautiful thing to see. Beautiful. Right? I would love to see him fighting Floyd Mayweather in 130. Beautiful fight. That's a Fantasy Wednesday discussion. However, he hasn't done that. He hasn't had the opportunity to do that. And if you really want to compare Loma to other fighters, these other fighters are going up higher weight classes and doing things that he's sitting kind of stagnant at 135. Now he's thinking about going back down to 130. It looks like he's going against the grain. You know what I mean? At that point, because if I'm Loma, if I'm that good, yeah, the Linares fight, yeah, that I know that woke him up a little bit. That made him kind of stop, but he should still go to 140. Now he should fight and shut up people like Lopez. Teofimo. shut him up. This guy, you know what I mean? But he got some humble pie lately, so let's not talk about him. But he still could have fought people like that, right? But just to all of a sudden, out of the blue, without anything extraordinarily happened, he's saying he's best pound for pound. And then he blames it on, oh, just being humble. No, I disagree. Don't be humble. Speak your piece. You know, I get he's trying not to, shit talk or whatnot, but this is boxing. This is a sport where it's the fighter's mental has to be that way. They have to feel they're the best at what they do. Because if they don't, then they start doubting themselves mentally. Okay? That's why this won't fly. But again, that's my counterpunch on it. I wouldn't be mad at somebody that thought Loma is the best, but for him to say, oh, he's the best and turn around and say, no, I'm really the best, I think there's something wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because you should have said that from jump. Maybe it's some marketing scheme or marketable, whatever, but they're both with ESPN. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Lomachenko compared to other pound for pound fighters. That opens up a whole nother can of worm. Look at Floyd. You know what I mean? Look at Manny. They were the same size Loma was. Let's keep it real. Where are they now? What did they do? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Floyd was 125 pounds. Loma went from 126 to 130 to 135. But Manny and Floyd, they kept going. Loma, if he wants to be that pound for pound guy, he needs to do something similar to that to be considered. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.